there, welcome back to No Pants Profits. My name's Richard, still sitting here with no pants and hopefully making plenty of profits. Now today I actually just went to the Electrify Expo, which was down here in the South Florida area, Miami a little more specifically, where they had all the big flashy EV, I'm wearing my nice Lucid hat I got from test driving a Lucid, test drove an Arcimoto, test drove a Livewire, talked to a lot of companies. We've got 8 videos coming up here in the next few days, kind of give you an idea of the companies I talked about, but there was one that I really can't get off my mind, and I want to do a deep dive into that company, show you what they do. It's not a sexy company. It's not something that you've heard the name of before. Unless you work for the company or you were really big in the SPAC world, you would have probably never heard of this company before. And the name of the company, let's talk about the company that was actually in the US, because this company, the parent company, which is the one that I'm going to be saying is a potential investment, is going to be the one you're going to invest in. But in the US, they have a subsidiary, and the subsidiary, we're going to just look at that real quick, and then we won't go back to it again. It is called Gen Z EV. They're the subsidiary that's going to be selling this technology, and has already started selling this technology in the United States along with the UAE. Those are their exclusive territories as of right now, which is Gen Z EV. And this company really helped ADSTec, which we're going to talk about, get listed as a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company, about 12, 13, 14 months ago. And it's very interesting, and it's gone down a lot recently, but when something goes down a lot, you don't see failure, you see opportunity. So I want to discuss whether there's an opportunity, show you some of the things, but the name of the company is called ADSTec Energy, is the name of the company. And what I want to do is I want to play you their promotional video on YouTube. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to show you some stuff from the show, and then we're going to do a little bit more digging into what's going on. So ADSTec Energy, and what they do, their symbol is ADSE, but we will get back to that in a moment.
The move to electric vehicles, or EVs, of all kinds, is racing past the anticipated inflection point. Meeting the demand for ultra-fast, convenient, and affordable charging for EV owners and charging network operators cannot be effectively met with current, commonly deployed charging technology on today's power-deprived grid. The current approach involves costly, time-consuming grid upgrades, particularly in the last mile. And commonly deployed charging technology exposes charging network operators to outrageously expensive peak power rates. Today, there's a better solution. The revolutionary ADSTec Energy Charge Box runs on patented battery buffering technology, enabling charge network operators to quickly and affordably install ultra-fast charging stations for cars or fleets anywhere they're needed, and without expensive grid infrastructure upgrades, right now. ChargeBox converts 110 kilowatt power locations into 320 kilowatt ultra-fast charging stations. For 2 cars, one ChargeBox can simultaneously fast charge each car at 160 kilowatts. ChargeBox also converts low-powered and source-distance 50 kilowatt power locations into 270 kilowatt fast charging stations. For 2 cars, one ChargeBox can simultaneously fast charge each car at 135 kilowatts. As of now, ChargeBox is the only battery buffered charger that can deliver up to 320 kilowatt ultra-fast charging, maintaining 100% of the EV's demand, even if the grid can't, while simultaneously recharging its own internal batteries from the lower powered grid. Once the charge session is complete, ChargeBox can be ready to provide ultra-fast charging to the next EV in line. ChargeBox employs battery buffering technology that virtually eliminates the high-rate charges of peak power demand for network operators. ChargeBox can also draw and store power from any photovoltaic system, allowing for even greater savings. ChargeBox easily connects to existing grid infrastructure, compared to the alternative requirement of complex, expensive, and time-consuming grid expansion. All of this can add up to much lower total cost of ownership for network operators. The ADSTec Energy Charge Box enables convenient, affordable, ultra-fast EV charging infrastructure virtually anywhere and lightning fast, making the transition to millions of EVs on our roads not just a promise, but a new reality. Discover the many applications of the ADSTec ChargeBox platform to help you transform to the all-electric world.
So yeah, this is really, really interesting. They did a hard pivot to the electric world. They actually did pivot with the Taycan. I'm going to play a little bit of an interview in a bit, but they started out in energy storage to kind of stabilize the grid. Now, they make their own energy storage systems. They do not make their cells. Their actual batteries, they do buy from Samsung. Tesla's still one of the only ones that's actually manufacturing their own cells. Everybody else is buying the cells from Samsung or Panasonic. Tesla's technically buying from Panasonic, but they've partnered with Panasonic to make custom cells. But what's so unique here is that it's designed for two problems. It's designed for, you're seeing the energy side because that's what we're really talking about today, but the other pivot where this really started is you've probably heard of California and Texas and all them having brownouts and having blackouts and having all those other things because the power demands are changing throughout the day. What's really cool is this allows you with a battery system to buffer up. Now, how these systems exist now, and let's talk about the bad boy in the room. Let's talk about Tesla. If you're looking at a Tesla supercharger, Tesla's not actually, generally speaking, doing this with batteries. They're actually upgrading for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, all of their supercharger sites to take in a lot more power, and then they're juicing it up a bit with capacitors and stuff like that. What this is doing instead is this is actually using batteries to kind of even out the curve and allow yourself to actually charge significantly faster. So today I was at the Electrify Expo in South Florida, and I got to speak to Aaron Greenberg, who's the head of strategy for Gen Z, which is the official US and UAE, so Dubai and those areas like that, distributor for this system. So I do want to take a quick look at my conversation with him earlier, and then we're going to come back and look at some other stuff.
And our unique technology is that we integrate batteries in the chargers, these chargers right here, that basically allow you to charge your car in 10-15 minutes, regardless of the grid infrastructure. So you can take whatever, the biggest problem right now is that you have limited amount of power that's coming from the grid. I'm sure people see, in California, all the rolling blackouts, brownouts, etc. The idea is, okay, take 50 kilowatts from the grid, and with this battery storage, this proprietary solution, we can have a car come up and you can charge 320 kilowatts, even though you're only getting 50 kilowatts from the grid.
Yeah, I just watched, I don't know if you're familiar, there was a thing about them taking a F-150 Lightning up to Alaska.
Yep.
If you've seen that,
Yeah.
they have a solution similar. I don't think it's probably not your solution that does that with the battery and takes it, because the grid can only provide so much power. And I think right now you're going for EV charging, but there's other options. I know one of your colleagues here showed me a mobile charging van that was used by Porsche that you guys made.
Yeah, so actually the main, the company is based and centered around energy storage platforms. So charging came actually as a delta of that.
Okay.
So there was actually, 7 to 8 years before the charging came out, it was development of energy storage platforms, so like big storage containers for wind farms, solar farms, things like that.
Right.
The idea is to take those energy storage platforms and go and develop EV charging.
Okay.
So Porsche.
Porsche was the thing that lit you off and said, hey, come do this for us. Or you went to them.
So Porsche's situation was they were in our backyard in Germany, and they came in and said, wait a second, we have this Taycan that's coming out. It's going to be the first 800 volts EV. Everything else before that, even Tesla, was 400 volts.
Right.
So 800 volts meaning you can charge the car much quicker.
Right.
Okay, but the problem was in these dealerships, most of the dealerships didn't have enough power coming into the dealership
To actually charge those cars at a fast speed.
Yeah.
Charge them when they
But
came
they
in.
were worried because people coming in for $100,000-$200,000 vehicle, they want to see that, hey, it actually charges.
They want it in the dealership to see what an Electrify America. I hate to say that's the big boy. They want to see if they go on a road trip that they can top that thing up in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't believe it.
Right.
People didn't. They wanted the consumer to believe that and basically say, okay, we're going to go for a test drive afterwards. Here's a cup of coffee. Come back out. You're going to see this thing fully charged.
And Taycan is still one of the fastest charging EVs out there, correct? It's like
270 kilowatts.
270 kilowatts continuous on
Yeah,
Taycan.
continuous. So this can do up to 320. So it's also future-proof in that sense.
It's future because a lot of them say 350 and stuff like that. And they have to 250, but nothing can actually accept 350.
So what you see a lot in the field right now, it's a good point, is that a lot of the chargers in the field will say 350 and then they'll throttle it down because of the existing infrastructure.
Because of the charging curve.
Exactly.
And like you have just something that's, he said it's about a half the size of a parking spot that you put in place, and that takes the grid power that's there and jacks it up.
Yeah, so this can go anywhere in any parking spot, and then there's a box that has the energy storage as well as the power.
So the whole
everything.
infrastructure of everything can fit inside of a parking spot, essentially, or in between two parking spots and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's very cool, and we're going to dive a little bit more into the financials.
All right, so like I said earlier, guess what it's time to do? It's time to dive a little bit more into the financials. I love what they're doing. I love, the idea of what they're doing, the scalability of what they're doing, how it's for EVs, and it's also to fix this blackout, brownout, all these other problems that you might have. But the real elephant in the room is, well, we got the stock market right now. The stock market is doing a lot of weird things. So let's talk about the past, present, future, all that of this company. It's been out just slightly over a year. Let me jump to the phone now. And, you can see that, let's go to 5 years so you can see. It was a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company. And when it was a SPAC, it was listed on March 9th, 2021. And as a lot of SPACs did, they traded upwards, downwards, leftwards, sideways, until they got a company. And then, unfortunately, started trading down, and got down to the lowest was about $5.13 on June 24th of 2022. And if we go here, let's make sure we've got the exact right one. So $4.97 was the low in June 24th of 2022. Right now we're at $6.25, and on Friday, which was October 7th, 2022, it had a pretty wreck day, a 6% or so down day. But I like what they're doing. Let's be very clear, and we're going to look at financials. They are not yet making money. This is a company that's blowing money on research and development and a lot of things. They are not yet making money, but they don't have an insane market cap. I think that's where there's a big opportunity. There's not some crazy huge Tesla market cap, not some crazy huge, I hate to sit here wearing the hat and talk the company down, but you'll see this market cap for this company is $317 million, and then we have a company that, I drove the car for the first time today. You'll see that video come up in a few days. Lucid has a market cap of $22 billion. So Lucid is like 60 times, at least, the size of this company. So, I mean, you've got a 60 times the size of the company, but it's kind of a really interesting conceptual. So ADSTec. So what I want to do now is I kind of want to take a deep dive into their investor relations site. Now I will show you their actual YouTube channel, which they're going to end consumers on their YouTube channel, which end users are not that useful here. What this is really designed for, I do like to look at other companies' YouTube channels, see how many subscribers they have, how many views. That video I showed you earlier only has 155 views. If we look at, they've had a total of 31,000 views, which is less views than No Pants Profits by a factor of 3 at least. But they actually, they've made content, they've made videos, they've talked about these storage container solutions. So, I mean, just to kind of take a look before we go into the investment side, this is where they started, long before EVs, is these storage container solutions. Well, they're not going to describe anything in the video, but essentially what that video is showing is it's showing their storage solutions. So they're storing power. I think that's the important thing, is they're really focused on storing power and then using that power later. But I want to take a look very specifically at their investor section of their website. I'm just excited about the underlying tech. I've not even looked at the investor relations yet. Well, let's take a look at the investor relations right here. All right. So, global leader, nice chart right there. Founded in 2017, they've got the 320 kilowatts, and they've already delivered. It's not vaporware like a lot of these EV companies and tech companies. They've already delivered greater than 450 charge box stations. And if I wanted to download that right there, this is their investor presentation of their earnings call, which literally happened about less than a month ago. So let's scroll through this and hope it's in English because it is a German company. Yep. Orders intake, backlog. So they literally have more business than they can make, which is probably a chip shortage thing or things like that. So the first half of 2022, strong order momentum, booked orders more than doubled year over year. Demand across many market segments: oil and gas, OEMs, utilities, municipalities, convenience and retail store. The idea is you can take your local Best Buy, your local, let's be honest, I know they are going to be installing Tesla chargers at a lot of these, but you can take your local Wawa and you can install a system like this in your local Wawa in places that don't have the electrical infrastructure. Tesla's having to bring electrical infrastructure into a lot of places that they're putting superchargers. So it's an extremely high cost. The only one that's really footing that bill right now, other than Tesla, is Electrify America, which is partially owned by Volvo, actually. It's partially owned by Volvo and some of the other car manufacturers. Strong interest in EV charging. So EV charging here is only one part of this business, and it's in its infancy. They're at these EV shows showing what's going on, trying to get people interested. It's not really designed for the end user, but the EV charging side of stuff is in its infancy. But you can see their revenue, their whole market cap. We look at their whole market cap because these are the fundamentals you want to look at. Their entire market cap is $317 million right now. Their revenue, which, yes, they're not really making money yet, but they do have revenue coming in, is $100 million. So price earnings is a little bit different than price revenue, but they are taking in $100 million in fiscal year guidance. So they're in 3 years, they're making the whole value of the company right now in revenue, again, not in actual earnings. And they launched the United States business, which is Gen Z EV Solutions. They launched it in January, identified a plant in the U.S. to go along with the existing plant in Germany. Increased capacity allows increased demand for their products, diversification across multiple companies, so it's no longer Germany-centric. So this actually launched in June of 2021, and only in January of 2022 have they launched the United States division, and that United States division seems to be going to all the car shows and things like that. What the Electrify Expo, where I met the head of strategy for Gen Z and some of the other team there. I also met I got the cards here, the VP of Sales for North America. So I met these people, chatted with them for a good half an hour, 40 minutes or so. Probably one of the longest discussions I had. They are really kind of trying to grow that North America business. And you look at the revenue outside of Germany and everything like that. So you can see their revenue. Look at that. Year to date, August, their orders are $152.3 million on a company whose market cap is 317.74. So they're essentially revenue, again, we're not saying earnings, but orders coming in. They haven't fulfilled those orders yet, and they do have a bit of backlog. Orders coming in is half of their market cap, which is insane. Shows you that something's a little bit underpriced. Gross profit, you see they lost about 4.8 million euros. There was a time, I tell you, there was a time back in the day when it was hard to convert dollars and euros. That time is long gone. But you can see their cash on hand, so they're not dying for cash. I mean, they've got, if we look at cash on hand, they've got about a sixth of their market cap in cash on hand, which is good cash to have on hand. Significant increase in orders from the U.S. and Europe, leading to a backlog of $176.7 million in orders. Full-year international expansion with revenue outside of Germany up 4 times from the first half of 2021. Half 2 of 2022 financials came in at a low level as expected due to customer delivery dates and material constraints. The pandemic, the shortages, the chip shortage, the parts shortage, the high price of everything, high revenue visibility for the second half of 2022. 2023 delivery order book is already started to build up, and we can actually see this is actually a great chart. You love to see something like this. When something is regional, we can look at the first half of 2021, and we'll see it was 94% Germany. in their sales. And then we look at the first half of 2022, and it's only 46% Germany. They're getting that business in North America. They're getting that order book in North America. I'll tell you, Steve Lowe, the VP of Sales for North America, right here, that boy be earning his paycheck. So, you know, it's one of those things. If you're getting those sales in North America, and you've got that guidance, total revenue is expected to be in the range of 80 million to 100 million for fiscal year 2022, representing a growth of more than 100% year over year, depending upon the stability of the supply chain. Very high backlog. So fiscal year 2024 is backloaded to the second half of 2022. So a lot of the orders from the first half were not delivered in the first half. They're going to be delivered in the second half. And in half one of 2022, 39 charging units were delivered, which the charging units are quite expensive. ADSTec expects to deliver in 2022. So the first half, they delivered 39, and in the entirety of 2022, they expect to deliver 400 to 500 units. Cost of sales, research and development. Their research and development is killing them. Their software and general administrative expenses are killing them, and their earnings. So they're losing money. Not gonna lie, they're losing money, but the business is growing. So that's the cool thing. They're losing money, but the business is growing. We look at cash. They do have cash on hand. They've got inventory, so they've got what they need there. They're not going out of business anytime soon, which is what I like to see. I will have the link to this file in the description below if you'd like to look at it yourself. Macro environment remains very favorable towards continued growth in EV adoption. Let's be very clear. When we're talking about EVs, we're talking about battery EVs. What you're going to see come out in the next few years. Right now, everybody's focusing on battery EVs. What you're going to see come in the future. I know it's crazy because I'm going to say something that's going to be like the Hindenburg right now. You're looking at hydrogen EVs coming out in the future. So instead of battery EVs, you've got hydrogen EVs that are going to come out in the future. You're like, they're going to run on a motor, an electric motor, but they can use hydrogen to make the power because that's actually a bit more efficient than a battery, and that's coming from someone who has a battery EV. They've identified a North America plant location. Remember, just like Tesla, the product is the factory. With this company, the product may be the factory. If they can make a factory that scales up energy storage solutions, damn, California will buy the whole company. No, I'm kidding, but they really do need it. The order book, it's already building up for 2023 deliveries. Charge Post launched in Europe and is successfully booked. 39 charging units delivered in the first half and 400 to 500 expected for the whole year. So for the whole year, they're going to do, 90% of their sales are going to be done in the second half of the year. North America is expected to increase significantly because what they're doing is they're going to shopping centers, shopping malls, apartment complexes, stuff like that. And we've got some other companies that are coming up on here that I met at this expo as well that are trying to do charging systems in Taco Bells and retail stores and everything like that. And, you know, this is kind of tech that could work because if you put a low-end charging station, my electric truck has a 131 kilowatt hour battery. I plugged it in for about 2 hours today, and I got 8 kilowatt hours, or like 3%. With these systems, I can plug that truck in and I can fill it up in 40 minutes with the same system that's running the charge points right now. So I think that's important. So continued international expansion of the customer base and expansion across Europe. And in Europe, electric cars are even bigger than they are in the US. Leading technology company offering battery buffered, ultra-fast charging solutions to commercial and industrial energy systems for your transition. Does they have hardware, software, and services? What that's called is a full stack. They've got a full stack of stuff, and they service it all the way through. Again, the only thing that they said they don't make is they don't make the cells. They make the set of cells in a battery, but they're buying the cells from Samsung. They've got the platform in 3 major applications. So you're not just buying the car thing. The car thing is what they're selling and what I was sold to it at. But you know, you're buying the car thing, you're buying energy storage systems, and you're buying home energy storage systems for off-gridders and stuff like that. So you've got all those. So you have the charge box, the charge post, and the charge trailer. Maybe we'll see a photo of the charge trailer down in this presentation. So you got the box, you got what's running it, and then you've got a trailer, which is just the system that's on the ground there, put in a trailer, and you can take the EV shows, Tesla events. All these companies are having big EV launches, things like that. But it's a trailer that can do it. And we're gonna you know, this kind of technology actually gets really interesting when it comes to building it into vehicles like tow trucks. Because guess what? People are going to get real funky with their EVs, and they're going to go, oh, I can drive my EV till it gets down to 0 miles, and they'll get to a charger, and it won't work, and they'll get stuck on the side of the road. So, you know, this technology going into AAA vehicles and things like that. Also, we've got power booster rack systems and container systems, so shipping containers with batteries. You've got a booster to boost given electricity, kind of like the charge box is actually doing already, but you can do it for traditional uses. Crypto mining, different. I hate to say crypto mining, but sorry, I said crypto mining. Crypto mining and different things like that, and rack systems and all kinds of data centers, and my power plant, which hopefully we'll see in a little bit. So ChargeBox launched Q1 2022. So again, if we're taking a look at the time frame, let's just look. ChargeBox launched Q1 of 2022. Let's just May. And since ChargeBox launched in the US, it went boo, and then and that big surge back up was when the infrastructure bill was coming out and everything like that. You know, a rising infrastructure bill raises all boats. So that's why that was really happening. But you'll see right now we're getting near that bottom, and you know, it'll likely bounce off that same bottom again. And my power plant is expected to launch in 2024. And this one is expanded CNI portfolio in EU. So CNI is charging an infrastructure. CNI Energy Storage Solutions stands for charging and infrastructure. For fossil fuel production to renewable energy. Hold on. Yeah, let me. Yeah, so they're saying that you know, it launched at Charge Point, launched in EU, Q4 launch in EU, so it's not even out yet. Charge Post launch in the US, Q3 of 2023. So there you got the box, but they don't have the post quite yet in the US. Invest in electrified future on NASDAQ with symbol ADSE, which we'll talk about in a minute. The world of energy is going to change completely. Okay. Capacity of the few largest power plants. Again, if you know anything about this channel, the future right now is not green. It's not solar power. It's not wind power. It's not anything like that. It's nuclear energy. I live in South Florida. We don't have any brownouts, so you can charge all the electric cars you want, because in the state of Florida, we got like 4 nuke plants. Having 4 nuke plants is a nice thing. Living next to those nuke plants, if they go badoom badoom, probably not the nicest thing in the world, but nuke plants are where you go. So having a decentralized energy system is a key component. They provide decentralized platforms containing batteries to offer flexibility, ultra-fast charging, integration. So let's look. Ultra-fast charging, self-consumption, integration of PV, photovoltaic, solar panels, integration of renewables, solar panels, and technically, nuclear is renewable. Reduction of CO2, sector coupling between grid services, advertisement arbitrage, and operation of charging points themselves. That's all the things that they're actually doing. And they're really talking about who's going to need their thing is convenience and fueling. Large retail stores. Walmart already has a deal with Electrify America. So it's unlikely you're going to see any of this ADSTec stuff in a Walmart. But, you know, you might see chargers in Target. They come from ADSTec. And also, when is it? October? Now, again, I'm gonna talk broadly right now because we know these are gonna use different connectors, but in December 1st of 2022, Tesla's gonna be putting out their Semi, and yes, the Semi is gonna use superchargers, but as more and more trucks come up with things like that, fleets, the Ford Transit Connect is a fleet vehicle that's used by plumbers and electricians and everything things like that. You've got to have some fleet management, and this is good for fleet management. Also, we're looking at, let's see, ultra fast charging on the go. So the TAM, or the total addressable market. Now, this is a very misleading slide by a lot of companies, so let's just go with it, okay? So, convenience and fueling, meaning the stations that are out and about right now, they've got 67. The total addressable market is 67,000 stations, and you've got 160,000 condo buildings, 5.5 thousand high-end hotels, because unfortunately right now, people in low-end hotels are generally not driving electric cars. Office and industry, that might be changing with the with people working from home, from the office a little bit more. They're also where they got their start. You saw in the video with the Taycan. They got their start at dealer sites and building out that technology at the dealer sites. Where I got my F-150 and where I got my Mustang Mach-E, they did not have. The Ford dealers, when I got my vehicles, did not actually have fast chargers. They just had conventional home wall chargers. So when you're when you're not understanding what's going on, meaning if you're not a seasoned EV pro, it's hard to explain fast chargers to normal people. So getting that OEM auto dealer install is kind of an interesting one, as well as Hertz is putting more and more electric vehicles in their fleet all the time. They're lower maintenance, they're lower everything. You don't got to replace the brakes and everything as much. So rental cars, fleets, municipalities, honestly, again, TAM does not mean they're getting the whole thing. That's the total addressable market. They're saying the total addressable market is $54 billion, and I say that number is actually kind of low. They're not going to get that whole market, but look, if they get $1 billion of that, hey. They get $2 billion of that, hey. They get 3 or 4, hey. You know, that's the theory in talking about the total addressable market. Now, here's the other important thing. That's in the U.S., and then they've got that same thing over in Europe. So, who are their direct partners and customers, and why do they work with them? Again, we're doing a full financial review, and I want to tell you what I'm going to do with this company, because that's what we do on this channel. Young companies who understand have big potential, energy partnerships, so that's their startups, medium-sized utilities, automotive OEMs, oil and gas companies need to change their business model to increasing EVs. And maybe? We offer the best-in-class decentralized intelligent management system. All of the units may be branded by their customers. So Porsche went ahead and branded it themselves. They didn't leave the ADSTec, so this looks to be a photo. But one thing will be co-branded. It's all of our units may be branded by our customers, but one thing will be co-branded. It's ADSTec. So they still put their name, but you can co-brand the technology there. And those look like photos in the Porsche one, and this guy doesn't. But it's very, very interesting. These are actual photos of their charging station. Examples of Porsche centers in Germany, Switzerland, France, and Sweden with 320 kilowatt-hour fast chargers. The car dealerships are usually located in convenient locations by the highway or main exit roads. About 450 stations with charge boxes and more than 100 dispensers have already been supplied to Porsche in 2020, 2021. Further systems are on order. So these are pictures of this is not renders, these are actual photographs, and I love to see photographs from companies because generally you just see renders. These are all actual photographs. Nothing makes me happier than seeing photographs. This is their microgrid, stable stuff. This is how you stabilize California's power if you're watching this from an American, or how you stabilize the grid over in Europe. Let's talk Europe, you know, with the cutoff of the Russian gas and petroleum and natural gas and all that. This could be an interesting way to do that. You know, off-grid power plant. You have an island. You have even cruise ships. I only say that because I'm headed on a cruise ship tomorrow, and that's why I got all this content up for you beforehand. So, you know, off-grid plant with major multi-watt large-scale battery solutions. So here's the question. How am I going to play this investment? I like it, which is rare for me to say I like something just on site. This was my favorite thing at the Electrify Expo, and strangely, it's what I'm going to bring you first. And how I'm going to play this is I'm not going to buy any of this up front because I think we're in some really weird market conditions right now, and it might not be the smartest thing in the world to buy a big portion of this up front. So here's what I'm personally going to do, and I'm going to do it in the Robinhood app, but you can do this in almost any app. I'm going to buy $10 a day of this stock. $10 a market day. So $10 Monday through Friday. Again, we're coming up on the 10th, which is Columbus Day, and the market's going to be closed for that. So, actually, no, the market's not going to be closed for Columbus Day. But you'll see Monday, the 10th of October, it's going to go ahead and it's going to buy one share. At, not one share, it's going to buy one share at the initial SPAC price, which was $10. And I'm just going to have it buy $10 every day. And what am I going to do? I'm going to do my favorite thing, the Ronco rotisserie oven. I'm going to set it and forget it. Come back like 6 months later. Let's see how much damage that's going to do. 10 times 30. 300. $1,800. Is it crazy? It could be. But instead of putting $1,800 up front, I'm going to dollar cost average, set it and forget it. I'll probably look at it come December time and see where we're at for tax loss harvesting. And I hope I don't have to tax loss harvest. But I really like this, and it's very rare that I go in and, you know, I'll find something really out in the wild. I'll generally find them on the internet. So I did want to do kind of a really interesting deep dive into ADSTec Energy, a company I met at the Electrify Expo in Miami, and that Electrify Expo is coming to Atlanta. Not Atlanta, sorry. I said Atlanta. It's coming to Austin a little bit later in the year, so if you want to check it out, I'm sure ADSTec will be around for the Austin location as well. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comment below. This was a deep dive on ADSTec. Symbol is ADSE, and this is Richard from No Pants Profits, reminding you that when you wear no pants, like I do, all you got left to lose is your shirt. Have a great one. Bye!